What's up guys, today in the shop we are going to be doing some Marty Merillat torque boxes, uppers and lowers in Joey Moore's record holding stock block nitrous Mustang, which now has a turbo on it, going for the top turbo record. So stay tuned and we'll get into what we're going to do to get those swapped out. Alright, so these are the pieces from Merrilat Racing. These are the upper and lower torque boxes for Mustang. Obviously you have to weld them in, cut out the old stuff. Obviously, it goes without saying, these are some of the nicest pieces that you can buy anywhere. I mean, just check out, it's all TIG welded. I mean, that's work of art. What a shame to even paint these things. All of it, really. Fantastically done. Shout out to Marty and his high quality parts here. What we're gonna do is put them on this car. This is Joey Moore's Mustang. It is currently the stock 302, like 5-liter old school. Pushrod motor, stock block holder for nitrous, record holder, and he's got a turbo on there. And if you go on Turbo John Racing channel, he did some track stuff and some dynos with it, but kind of see him from the bottom. Single turbo car. So it's pretty basically built. I mean, it's just got all your basic parts on here. Still got the 8.8. It has the baseline suspension housing side uppers. I think it's the instant center correction brackets is what they call them. It has an anti-roll bar, but this is going to be going away for something better in the future. And then obviously we have to cut out the stock torque boxes, which really, this sucks. It's probably one of the worst jobs to do. And to add insult to injury, these have been welded in place as well. So definitely going to have our work cut out for us in getting all this removed. So the first thing we need to do is get the rear end down and out of the way, and kind of assess what we need to start cutting and removing. Okay, now we're under the car. You can kind of see what we're working with. Quite a bit of, we'll say, additional reinforcing welds been put on this, so this is going to be really difficult to cut this out of here. Yeah, there's a lot going on. So we'll start with the uppers, and then we'll come back and get to the lowers. I'll have to reposition it off the lift. Off of this, like I said, we'll have to remove the subframe connector from this portion because the torque boxes sit like right here. You can see the lip on them. It's this right here. This whole lip sits on the. This whole lip right here sits on the bottom of where that is. This one right here. So, yep. This is where we'll start. So I'll get the brake line moved out of the way to start, and then I guess we'll go ahead and try to remove this anti-roll bar. It's welded in there pretty good, so yep. We'll just set up and get to cut. So we're like 4 hours in, and I've got the torque, but the uppers cut out mostly. There's still some parts that have weld on them. I've got to grind the weld down, but what I did was, let me just flip the camera around. Some of these, what I ended up doing was just like cutting right on the edge of the weld around, just because there was just so much. I had no idea where the edge of the actual piece was. And like this one right here, there's only that much, but there's an inch. I mean, that's as big as my thumb. Weld on there. This whole piece has to come out too, so it doesn't really matter much. I'll end up cutting. I think I'm just gonna, for the sake of it, because there's no way I'm gonna be able to grind all this seam weld off and not end up with paper thin stuff or cut through and have Swiss cheese on there. So I might just end up redoing this sheet metal and just cut this out and save myself the trouble, because I still have the lowers to do, and yeah, that sucks. Luckily, I think there's only about like here that I need to cut out. I'm not really sure. Like I said, once I get this. Yeah. All right, guys, so I'm about 8 hours into this job so far. I have all of the center uppers cut out and that in, and then I have the driver's side lower completely cut out and put in spot. So basically about 2/3 of the way through. I think I'd be about 3 hours in on that, and then the rest of the time welding everything in place. Yeah, so it's coming along. So we're back under the car next day. Gonna get after this lower torque box. I didn't really film anything just because it was going to be hours of time lapse, and it was just not really worth that. Okay guys, well, we're wrapped up with this car. We went ahead and got everything painted, seam sealed, installed. I got the control arms adjusted pretty much so the wheels sit centered and they don't scrub out or anything. I welded the anti-roll bar in. It's just a UPR chromoly one. Same thing that was in there. We just put a new one in. Obviously, the way that it was all welded in and tied into the other control arms, upper control arm actual torque boxes, it was welded to those. So I kind of I told them I was going to have to probably mangle it to get it out of there. And if you saw what that looked like in the previous, that thing had seen better days. Actually, it's right over here on the floor. Yeah, this thing had seen better days. It had obviously broke and been fixed at one point in time. So it was just time for a new one, so we put a new one in there. So that's pretty much it.